Talk live, man. So I want to talk about the Anthony Joshua versus Povetkin. I want to break that fight down, man, and give my perspective on I think the fight is going to go. Judging by the two fighters' styles, Povetkin has to get on the inside. Now, Povetkin is the shorter fighter. Anthony Joshua stands about what, 6'5", 6'6". Povetkin stands about 6'2", maybe 6'3" at the most. So he has to get on the inside. I don't. Povetkin doesn't fight good from the outside. He's more of an inside mid-range fighter. But on this fight, I think he needs to get on the inside because against Carlos Takam, Anthony Joshua was not comfortable when Carlos Takam was all up on him, all up on his in his space and throwing body shots, as well as Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker threw some real good body shots, but he never followed up on it, or he didn't stay on the inside. Joseph Parker was trying to stay at like a mid-range area, and that's not the range you want to stay with Anthony Joshua. You either want to be on the outside, way on the outside, and or way on the inside. Seeing that Anthony Joshua has the reach on Povetkin. Povetkin can't be at mid range. He can't even be all the way out. Povetkin will have to be in. He's gonna have to rough this fight up. He's gonna have to bag Joshua up to the ropes. He's gonna have to rough Joshua up on the ropes, go to Joshua's body, because Anthony Joshua just didn't look right. He just didn't look comfortable when Joseph Parker was landing body shots on him. And I thought he was hurt a couple times to the body, but Joseph Parker, like I said, he never followed up on it. But yes, that's how I think Povetkin can be very very hard to beat in this. He can be a very tough out if he works on the inside. So it's pretty plain and simple. He needs to get on it. He's a power puncher, and if he can go to the body and hurt Joshua to the body, kind of soften Joshua up for the later rounds if it goes that long. Y'all, sorry I was cut off, man, for a minute, but like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory for Povetkin. This fight is really a easy fight to break down because both men have to do one or two things. Povetkin has to get on the inside. Hopefully, he can sap some of Anthony Joshua's power. Slow him down for the later rounds if it go that far, like I said, and rough Joshua up on the inside because Joshua is not he doesn't want the fight to be inside. He wants to fight at long range or mid range. And for Anthony Joshua, he has to keep the fight. He has to keep Povetkin on the outside, and hope to land those combinations that Anthony Joshua like to land. Use his jab to keep Povetkin on the outside. Now Klitschko, his thing about this, he handled Povetkin by holding Povetkin. But I don't. I think Povetkin people. I'm pretty sure they had to. And I don't think that you really took the risk to knock Joshua out. And yeah, Um, I don't think Joseph Parker took the risk to knock Joshua out or to even, try to win the fight, really try to win the fight. I just thought it looked like to me that he was happy to go 12. Now, like I said, he landed some real good body shots, but lucky he was happy to go 12. So Anthony Joshua in this fight, I believe Anthony Joshua needed a knockout, man. He need a really good performance. Either a knockout or a comprehensive win, showing that he was trying to knock Povetkin out, but Povetkin showed a really good chin, and in showing his chin that he showed he prevented Joshua from knocking him out. But Joshua has to have a really good performance, man. He can't. I'm saying he can't struggle 3 fights in a row. Like I stated, he did win the fights, but he didn't look good in the fight. So that's my breakdown of what both of the fighters should do. Who I think will win? I think Joshua will win. I think Joshua will probably win in a late round stoppage, around about 9 or 10. Now he can catch Povetkin early if Povetkin come out and assert himself and leave himself open and is a little wild and he don't get on the inside. He could knock Povetkin out early, and Povetkin can also catch Joshua early because I seen Joshua get caught early by Dillian White and it was hurt real bad. You know what I'm saying? He was caught by Klitschko, so he is there to get it. you can catch him because sometimes Anthony Joshua can be too flat-footed. You know what I'm saying? He can telegraph his punches, and you can catch him. So the first 1 to 3 to 4 rounds is going to be very dangerous for both fighters. So don't be surprised if it's a knockout early. But being that these two guys have a lot of experience, I can see it going to a decision, or I can see a late round stoppage by Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? That's my take on the fight. But I want to talk about a couple other things. Bob Arum is an article on Boxing Scene that Bob Arum came out and said that HBO and Showtime should not be in the business of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum, you know what I'm saying? You was just in bed with HBO, and now you saying they don't belong in boxing anymore. I mean, I know you with ESPN now, but for you to come out and say HBO and Showtime should not be in boxing anymore, that's ludicrous. So what? You want the monopoly to be with ESPN? You want ESPN to control boxing? I mean, I know, you know what I'm saying, you signed a deal with them, but that's a little ridiculous to say those two networks that have been prominent in boxing for a long time. I know ESPN has been prominent in boxing, but Showtime and HBO, some of the best fights of all times has been on HBO and Showtime. So why those two networks should not belong in boxing? Now you wasn't saying that when you was with HBO. See, that's why I said you cannot take what these promoters say too seriously, man. Because Bob Arum was just with HBO for years. Now he's coming out and say HBO and Showtime do not belong in boxing anymore. I know Bob Arum is getting older. You know what I'm saying? I know he's getting older, and that can probably play a part in it. But to me, it just seemed like he want ESPN to have a monopoly on boxing, man. That's what it seemed like to me. And Bob Arum want a lot of those PBC fighters anyway, because he's going after a lot of them. He already went after Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner talked about how I think he went over to Bob Arum's house, and Bob Arum invited him over the house and offered him a contract. I know he tried. I think he tried to go out to Gervonta Davis. I know for sure he tried to go out to Earl Spence, and he's probably still trying to go out to Earl Spence. Now he's trying to go out to Sean Porter. He offered Sean Porter a deal. So I don't know. Bob Arum is something else, man. You know what I'm saying? He's to me, it's surprising that he's still that prominent in boxing, because him and Don King came in around about the same time, and Don King doesn't have a hold on boxing like he used to have, and Bob Arum still has his hold on boxing. Bob Arum still got some pretty good. What's up, man? What's up? Bob Arum still has some pretty good you know what I'm saying, prominent fighters like Lomachenko. Well, he had Mikey Garcia. He don't have Mikey Garcia no more. He got Terrence Crawford. He got that Ryan Garcia, that young kid. He got some other fighters too. So, Bob Arum just want a lot of those fighters on PBC. That's why he's coming out and saying that Showtime and HBO do not belong, in boxing anymore, which to me sounds ludicrous, seeing that HBO and Showtime put on, like I said, some great fights throughout the years, and nobody can dispute that. So I don't know what he's talking about from that standpoint. Other than that, he want a lot of fighters to come on his side of the table. So I know Dillian White is if Joshua beat Povetkin, we can all. I'm telling y'all right now, he's gonna fight Dillian White. It's gonna be a Dillian White Joshua too, because Dillian White coming out saying if he fight Joshua in a rematch, he's gonna knock Joshua out. So that's gonna be the next fight. He's not gonna fight Wilder in his next fight, so I don't want people to get their hopes up high. Now he still can very well fight Wilder, you know what I'm saying, next year, after Dillian White, but he won't be fighting Wilder next. So he will be fighting Dillian White. Dillian White already promoting the fight already, saying that he's gonna knock Joshua out. It was a pretty good fight, that first fight. Dillian White said he had a shoulder injury. I don't know, how hurt his shoulder was. I don't know what credence to put behind that, but he said his shoulder was hurt, and I guess he thinks if he's 100%, he can knock out Joshua. Now he did hurt Joshua real bad. He hurt Joshua really, really bad, and I think what happened was Dillian White did get in Joshua's head in the build up. He was calling Joshua a fake tough guy and all this, and saying that he was a real White. Dillian White was saying he's a real tough guy, and Joshua was not a real tough guy. I think Joshua was. I ain't gonna say he was. What's up, man? What's up? What's up, Hype Low? I'm not saying Joshua was scared, but he did let Dillian White get in his head in that build up. So, but I don't think Dillian White will be able to play the same card if they have a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Because Joshua has already seen it. He's already experienced Dillian White talking mess to him, trying to be tough. So I don't think Dillian White can play the same card in part two in a rematch. And I think Joshua will have more confidence in beating Dillian White, seeing that he did knock him out. Now, what will be in the back of the mind, Joshua, Anthony Joshua's mind is he did get hurt real bad versus Dillian White, so that may play a role in it that he did get hurt versus Dillian White. So we will see, man. I won't mind seeing a rematch because all these heavyweights. I mean, yeah, the first fight was a knockout by Joshua, but all these heavyweight fighters got to mix it up with each other. They can't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's no other division to move to unless one of them move down. And heavyweights usually don't move down. You know what I'm saying? Especially career heavyweights, they really don't move down anyway. So I can see all these guys rematching each other and fighting each other, and that's all. That's all the boxing fans want to see. All they want to see is these guys mix it up with each other, man. I mean, you can't so much worry about losing all the time and trying to get yourself in the best situation. Just get the fans what they want. They want to see y'all mix it up. They want to see fights. They want to see competitive fights. Uh, if you lose, you can always come back and avenge your loss. You know what I'm saying, in a rematch. So Dillian White is going to have a chance to avenge his loss versus versus Anthony Joshua. So I want to see, but I really want to see, everybody really want to see Wilder versus Joshua, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Wilder versus Joshua, and I want them to get it on because I want undisputed. I want to see an undisputed champion, man. We one fight from undisputed, one fight from being an undisputed champion, and I want them to stop talking about the negotiations in public. No more public negotiations. We need to stop with this public negotiations, man. This public negotiations is not, to me. It's not good for the the fans, because what happens is everybody gets in a corner of who's right and who's wrong. If they just go ahead and just do the negotiations behind closed doors, and they just come out and say, well, we couldn't come to an agreement, okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Instead of coming out one side saying, oh, this side said they want this size gloves, or this side want this much money, or this side want to fight in their country, or this side want to fight in their country. And then to me that just causes a lot of just uproar, unnecessary uproar in these, and they can just handle that stuff behind closed doors, man. And it's enough, at the top level of boxing, it's enough money to go around for both guys, man. It's enough money to go around for Wilder and Joshua. I just think, if you want to be honest, man, they're both good champions. They both had multiple title defenses. I know Wilder had more title defenses. Than Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua is the best in the UK, and Wilder is the best in the US. They should just, They should just get the same amount of money, or you can do this, man. You can do this. If Anthony Joshua wants to fight in the UK, we'll pay Wilder the most money. Pay Wilder 60-40. If Wilder wants to fight in America, then Wilder should pay Joshua 60-40. That's how it should go, man. To me, that's only a fair, like, are you more inclined to get more money and fight on the road, or are you more inclined to get less money and fight at home? That's what it should come down to. It shouldn't come down to, because I understand that Anthony Joshua wants to fight in his country, but we also got to understand that Wilder wants to fight here. So, hey, hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm back, man. I had some kid issues, but watch the Carl Farch versus Carl Farch Sky video, the one where he talks about Eddie Hearn. They are all in it together. They are doing the fight will generate more money than it does take if it does take place. Big gamble though, because who's to say that AJ will win the fight? Well, to me, it's not about winning the fight. It's about these guys need to come to a solution to get in the ring, because ultimately, with them talking about making money, the only way they're gonna make money is if the fans are interested in seeing the fight. That's what fighters got to understand. I mean, you can fight, you can go in the alley and fight, but if you want to fight on television and things of that nature, it's the fans that are his next fight. Oh yeah. His next fight is gonna be Dillian White. That's what Anthony Joshua gonna fight Dillian White next. I already know that. But I'm talking about after that, they should be making the Wilder versus Joshua fight, because I want to see undisputed, man. I don't want to. I'm tired of you know, it's only one fight. You know what I'm saying? It's one more fight that we need to have, and then we can have undisputed champion for the first time since Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? All the belts that Vladimir Klitschko had, he didn't have a WBC. His brother had a WBC, and then when his brother, retired, Areola and Stavern fought for it, and then Stavern fought Wilder. That's how Wilder got the belt. So Vladimir Klitschko never was undisputed, and the last undisputed was Lennox Lewis. So like I said, if Wilder wants to fight in his country, then he pay Wilder 60-40. If Wilder wants to fight in America, then Wilder pay Joshua 60-40. To me, that's only fair. But they got to come up with something, man. I'm just throwing something out there. Out in public, man. Don't tell me about the negotiations unless y'all tell me that y'all came to a consensus and y'all let me know when the date, time, and that's it. I think Povetkin could beat. Oh yeah, Povetkin has a really good chance of beating AJ Povetkin. You know, he's a former gold medalist. He's only been beaten one time, and that was by Klitschko. And a lot of people think that Povetkin was beaten by Klitschko because Klitschko did a excessive holding. You know what I'm saying? I watched the fight, and Klitschko did do excessive holding, but it's also Povetkin's job to prevent from getting held too. You have to, if a man holds you that many times, then a lot of it's on you. Yeah, but Klitschko, and then the referee should have warned. I mean, he was warning Klitschko, but you have to start taking points. If he would start taking points from Klitschko would have been forced to not hold Povetkin that much. So, like I said, Povetkin has to be on the inside. He has to be letting his hands go on the inside. Hold on, y'all. Hello? What's up? Yeah, I don't think it's no game. My wife's supposed to go pick up Burberry, and I don't know. She's off. She's off now. She's supposed to be going. I don't think it's gonna be no game either. But they didn't call us and cancel it. But it shouldn't be no game because I think it's going to rain on and off for the rest of the day. Yes. Yeah. Probably if you can get up there before she get up there. She coming from Walmart, but I don't know. It shouldn't take her that long. It all depends on by traffic, though. Traffic can hold you up. Yeah. So yeah. You can go get them. I'll let her know that you're going to get them. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. That my son got a soccer game today, and I believe it's rained out because it's raining. So, but they usually give us a message. Let me text my wife real quick. Yeah, but yeah, I was just talking about that Povetkin need to get on the inside, man, if he want to have a chance. And his team, it's up to his team to let the referee know about excessive holding. Potentially excessive holding because Povetkin has to work on the inside. AJ has to work on the outside. Povetkin has to work on the inside. So it's a fight of real estate. Who's going to control their real estate? You know what I'm saying? So that's what the fight gonna come down to. But yeah, Povetkin has a good chance of beating AJ. I expect AJ to win, but I won't be surprised if Povetkin win because when you talk about these heavyweights, anything can happen with these heavyweights, and especially the ones that know how to fight. Povetkin know how to fight. So yeah, it could be tricky for Joshua, but I expect Joshua to win. What else I wanted to talk about, man? I wanted to talk about. Hold on, man. I know Keith Thurman was there. Talking about Keith Thurman is coming back. Oh, I want to talk about Lomachenko versus Pedraja. And Pedraja is that guy that Tank Davis knocked out to win his first title. I expect Lomachenko to go in there, and just handle business. I know Lomachenko was coming out off of shoulder surgery, so he's Pedraja is really his tune-up. So he'll be going there and fighting him. And I expect nothing but a stoppage. Lomachenko's by stoppage. Lomachenko is a brilliant fighter. It's a lot of people that don't want to give Lomachenko his due. A lot of people say they're going to give him his due after he beat after he after Lomachenko fought and beat Linares. I know he got knocked down by Linares, but Linares is a bigger guy, and to me, he outclassed Linares. Now he did make a mistake when he's kind of squared up versus Linares, and got caught and got dropped. A lot of people looking at that. A lot of people saying, he got dropped. But you know that happens in boxing, man. People get dropped. He got up. He handled it well. He came back, and he ended up hurting uh, Lenoris. So I thought it was a really, really good performance. I know a lot of people said they was gonna give Lomachenko his due after he beat Rigondeaux too, and come to find out, he didn't get Lomachenko. The people didn't give Lomachenko credit for that, a lot of credit for that, and they listened to Lomachenko words when Lomachenko said that. Hold on, hello, hello, hello. Hey, your father on his way to come pick y'all up. He on his way right now. All right, all right. So they didn't give him. They didn't give Lomachenko his credit because Lomachenko came out and said that Rigo was too small for him. Which when they announced that fight, I told people don't get too hyped over Rigo beating Lomachenko. He's a little bit bigger than Lomachenko. I mean Rigo, and he may be a little. They may be on the same skill level, or Lomachenko may be a little bit more skilled than Rigo. So when a smaller fighter is fighting a bigger fighter, the smaller fighter has to come in with some advantages, and I just didn't think Rigo had any advantages in that fight. I thought it was evenly matched, and what was going to happen was the size was going to be the difference. I think when Rigo got in the ring with Lomachenko and seeing how big Lomachenko was, I think he was a little intimidated. I think he was a little intimidated, and then he was intimidated by Lomachenko's speed because Rigo is used to being the fastest guy in the ring, and when the guy get in there just as fast than you or faster than you, it changed your perspective. And so I think it changed his perspective, and it was people picking it was picking Rigo to beat Lomachenko. Then after the fight, people say, "Well, Rigo was too small. That's why he lost." Well, I told you before they got in the ring that Rigo was going to be too small, and Rigo didn't have no decided advantage. The advantages that Rigo had, Lomachenko had the same advantages over him. The same advantages, or probably better. You know what I'm saying? So Rigo was up against it, in my opinion. But I picked Lomachenko to win. He is very special. He would be very special in any era. Yeah. Lomachenko would be special in any era. He could fight in any era. Right. I've got to make my evening meal. I will listen to your podcast when you're done. Okay, that's cool. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel, man, and share the video. If you have Facebook or Twitter or whatever, just share it, man. Just trying to get more support and get more people to have dialogue with, and I'm gonna invite people to actually come on here and chop it up with me on here. But like I said, Lomachenko didn't get full credit for Rigo. And I gave him full credit for Rigo because Rigo came out and said that he wanted to fight Lomachenko. He was going to beat Lomachenko. And people that was picking Rigo said that Lomachenko was scared to fight Rigondeaux. I remember people saying that. Even 6-7 months to a year before they fought, people were saying that Lomachenko don't want to fight Rigondeaux. And those people know who they are. Those people know exactly who they are. So, yeah, let's see. Let me see, man. Rigo has stopped. Let me see. Rigo got how many stoppers Rigo's got in a row though? Rigo got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rigo got 8. I mean, Lomachenko got 8 straight stoppage. And the weird thing about this is very unusual. I bet you we won't see this on anybody else's box rack that I know of. Hey, if you know somebody that made 1, 2, 3, 4 people retire in a row on their stool, let me know. Let me know who that fighter was. I know some fighters have made some fighters retire on their stool. I know Keith Thurman made 2 fighters retire on their stool. I know it was I know he made. Hold on. I remember the fights that Keith Thurman made fighters quit on their stool. He made Collazo retire on his stool, and he made Julio Diaz retire on his stool. So he's the only one that I seen in that close proximity of within fights. I know he made them retire one, two, three. That was within 4 fights. So he made Julio Diaz retire, then he fought Bundu, then he fought Rigondeaux, then he made Luis Collazo retire. But Lomachenko, this dude, he made 4 fighters retire in a row. That got to be a record. He made Rigondeaux, Miguel, Jason Sosa, Nicholas Walters, and Roman. No, no, not Roman Martinez. He made Nicholas Walters, Jason Sosa, Miguel, and Glimmer Rigondeaux. He made all 4 of them retire on a stool. That has to be a boxing record, man. Now, I'm not talking about as far as people throughout your career on your box rec. I'm talking about 4 fighters in a row retired on their stool. That's crazy. And a lot of that was due to he was outclassing them. And when a fighter is outclassing you, hitting you, and you can't hit them, that's embarrassing. But to retire on your stool, I mean, I don't know about that, man. You have to fight the fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Nicholas Walters, he was getting hit, but it wasn't like he was staggering or he was hurt real bad. He just was embarrassed. He just was embarrassed because he couldn't land the shots he wanted to land. And that goes for all of them, man. That goes from Rigondeaux wasn't hurt. Rigondeaux wasn't hurt like wobbling or what I'm saying, multiple knockdowns. I see if they had multiple knockdowns before they retired on a stool, but he didn't have multiple knockdowns. He was more or less embarrassed. I mean, the stop he probably would have ended up getting stopped. You know what I'm saying? But you have to fight, man. To me, that's bad on your record, man. Usually when you look at that and like, man, he retired on this stool. Did he have an injury? Then you got to go back and look at the fight. This man didn't even have an injury. Man, he didn't even really get hurt that much. Why did he quit on this stool? So, whatever, man. But I don't think you will see that on another box rec with 4 fighters in a row getting stopped. That's very unusual. Let me see, man. And Eddie Hearn said he came out on Boxing Scene and said if Tyson Fury get knocked out by Wilder, he will not let Fury fight Anthony Joshua. So I guess he's trying to send a message to what? What are you trying to do, Eddie Hearn? You trying to send a message to Tyson Fury not to go on with the fight? Because Eddie Hearn do not want Tyson Fury Wilder fight to go off. I mean, I don't want the fight to go off either because of, like I already stated my case, Fury is not mentally or physically. He may be, I don't know, man. He may be mentally, but he's not physically ready to fight Wilder. Based off the two tune-ups he had, no, he's not physically ready for that fight. But nevertheless, Eddie Hearn do not want Fury versus Wilder to happen because he wants for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua to fight Fury after Anthony Joshua fight Povetkin, or he want Anthony Joshua to fight Fury to fight Dillian White. If he wins in Povetkin, he want you know what I'm saying, he want Anthony Joshua versus Fury. Because it's a thing out there that say that these fight believe he's not the lineal champion. Now I did a video on that. Go look at my video. It has Lennox Lewis on the you know what I'm saying, on the Lennox Lewis on there. And Lennox Lewis is the last undisputed lineal champion. And I explained to you in that video why Fury is not the lineal champion from a logical standpoint. Now, you can go look at that video, but he's not the lineal champion. But they perceive him as being, quote unquote, the lineal champion. So, of course, it wants Joshua to get that scalp before Wilder. But it looks like Wilder going to get that. It's supposed to be December 1st. Let me see the Wilder versus Deontay Wilder versus Fury. Somebody video they said December 1st, but I never went to go check. I like Rack, man. They still don't have it on here. They still got him his last opponent, Louis. So they don't have it on here yet. So if BoxRec don't have, um, I don't see. I don't. It's not on here. You're breaking up at time. Oh, I'm breaking up. Can you hear me? Am I breaking up now? Hype low? Am I still breaking up? Am I still breaking up or I'm clear? Let me know if I'm still breaking up, y'all. But I don't think that D Hearn want Wilder to get that scalp before Joshua. Then Joshua will be quote unquote the lineal champion and the WBC champion. So Wilder can go into negotiations and say, "Hey, I'm the lineal champion. I'm the WBC champion. I'm the lineal champion. I defended my titles more. You titles than me. You may have the WBO, WBA, and IBF lineal champion. I'm the man that beat the man that beat the man. There's a catch there. Fury is not the lineal champion. And if you go back through boxing history, go all on my video all the way to John L. Sullivan, how the linealship of the heavyweight championship got broken, started again, and again, started again. See, well, people don't when it was only in the heavyweight division, and I'm talking about one belt in any division, the linealship went with the title. The linealship went with the yeah, not that bad though. Okay, the linealship was married to the title. When we started getting to when the belt got broken up and it became more sanctioning bodies, start having their own belts. In order to be a lineal champion, you have to have all the belts, man. You have to have all the belts to be a lineal champion. Aside with being an undisputed champion, and that last lineal undefeated champion, because he had all of the, and he was man. And when he retired with the linealship. Now, you know what? I'm not going to even go all the way back to John L. Sullivan. I'm going to start with Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis retired in the lineal champion, the belts got dispersed. Now, in various situations, and then at one time, Vladimir Klitschko had the WBO, IBF, WBA, and his brother had a WBC. Now that was all the major titles. And even Vladimir Klitschko had the IBO, but that's not a major title. But I'm just gonna put that in there. He had that belt. When the older Klitschko brother retired, his belt, Stavern and Areola fought for the vacant title. They ended up fighting. Stavern won both fights. I think both by stoppages. Yeah, both by stoppage. And then Wilder came, not stopped, and beat Stavern in a 12-round fight. Stavern was the first man to survive all 12 rounds with Anthony Wilder. So tell me, at what point was Vladimir Klitschko undisputed? Because he couldn't have been undisputed because the BC third. Wilder ended up with the WBC title. Now Klitschko had a chance to go heavyweight championship, but he chose not to. He didn't fight Wilder. He chose not to fight for. He could not establish a new bloodline. He had to establish a new bloodline. Has to be established once an undisputed lineal champion retires. You have to bloodline, and the Klitschko blood, even blood, when Fury defeated Skull, how in the world does that make him the lineal champion when the person he beat was not even a lineal champion? Now you see where I'm coming from? See how that makes sense? The younger Klitschko was never the lineal champion. I don't know what people getting that from. Now I had to sit down and break that down. I had to sit down and break myself and say, oh no, he's not the lineal champion because he was never. And neither one of the Klitschko beat Lennox Lewis in the ring. Now the older Klitschko fought him, but he lost due to cuts on his eye. He had to, the fight was stopped. So therefore, the younger Klitschko was never the lineal champion. So there is no lineal champion. Now, if let's say Wilder and Joshua fight, whoever wins that fight will establish a new bloodline of lineal champion coinciding with undisputed champion. That's how that works, people. You can't make a lineal champion, somebody a lineal champion because you want to make them a lineal champion, or you wish they are the lineal champion, or you're the lineal champion. No, the lineal champion is merged with the undisputed champion because you have to have can't have belt holders and say, well, the WBC champion is the lineal champion. The WBC believe the IBF heavyweight champion is the lineal champion. No. They have to fight it out. That and then man, therefore, we will have a new lineal champion. That's how that works. So all this fight was according to the site keepers of the. Let me see. Am I going to start back up or what? Okay. How can you have a lineal champion when the guy that you beat was not even a lineal champion himself? Okay, when Lennox Lewis retired, which of the Klitschko brothers beat Lennox Lewis? Neither one, right? So after Lennox came after he this fighter fought, and then the with all those, one brother ended up with 3 of the titles, and the other brother ended up with who's a lineal champion? How can you make that him beat Lennox Lewis in the ring? You have to establish a lineal champion by guys fighting in the ring. Now, we didn't expect the brothers to fight. I didn't expect the brothers to fight. I don't know anybody that expected the brothers to fight. But in saying that, they held back establishing a lineal champion and the undisputed by them to trying to rule the heavyweight time. So when the the older brother retired and his belt became vacant, and Stavern and Areola fought for the title, why didn't the younger Klitschko step in and fight Stavern after he won? Then why didn't he step in and fight Wilder after Wilder won the belt? There's no lineal champion. There's no undisputed champion. There's no lineal champion. Logical way of looking at it. Now, I mean, I guess if you want to, let me go upstairs, man, and see. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if my connection is right. I don't know if people can hear me. So can y'all hear me? I'm upstairs now, man. I can get a little bit better reception. But like I said, in my opinion, there's no lineal champion until Wilder and Joshua fight. If they both had the belts. That's just my opinion. Let me see. Bob Arum came on and said he's willing to make the Earl Spence fight. That's nice. Just make the fight, man. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Y'all and Mayweather supposed to be fighting again, and I guess Mayweather want a tune-up. They say the fight is gonna be in Japan because y'all has tax issues in America, and the fight won't be in America. So I guess it's gonna be in another country. And Pacquiao came out and said he don't he say Mayweather hasn't fought in a year. Of course, Mayweather need a tune up. But like I said, man, I'm not paying for this fight. They better give us this fight for free, or I'll be looking at it in other ways. We deserve this Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather rematch for free. Over it. I'm not even hyped over it. It was such a letdown that what I'm saying, it made left a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm not gonna get him. I'm not gonna get Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather a whole lot of arrow. Y'all just get in the ring. Just tell us the date. Y'all get in the ring and fight. I'll tune in. I'm not gonna boycott the fight, but what I'm saying. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm not gonna, some people probably. I mean, I can understand some people not wanting to look at it because they were so turned off the first time, But I'm gonna watch it, man. I like it. Entertainment. I mean, it may not be that entertaining, but it may be more entertaining. Mayweather's a little older, slow. He will stand there and not stand there. Maybe he will chances, and try to knock back Pacquiao out. He tried to knock Pacquiao out. We'll see a more of a entertaining fight. But yeah, man. Watch my video on the and it makes a lot of sense, man. I go all the way to the beginning. I go all the way, man, and correct all this stuff. Look at cyberboxing zone. This is the problem with lineal. All the lines are broken and they arbitrarily start them. Yeah. I know. My video, I show you where it was broken, where the linealship was broken. See, before the modern era, like I said, before the modern era of boxing, when you had one title, it was easy. It was established linealship because it coincided with the belt. Whoever was the man that beat the man. Like when John L. Sullivan, the guy that beat him was a lineal champion and the undisputed champion because there's only one belt. Was a lineal champion and the undisputed. It's gonna be the man that beat the man because there's only one belt. We did not get all people did not get all confused, and it. See, it became the lineal opinion once all those were established because people was trying to figure out who was the lineal. That's why it became more. I'm gonna say it became more confusing to people because of all the titles. But when you look at it and you line was reestablished, then lost again, and hold on, man. They gave Wilder leadership for his win. How is that? How do he get linealship for that? How do he get linealship over? I don't know, man. You got to. Let me see, man. Because I don't mind playing some of these clips from my video, man. Let me see if I can find it. Because I don't remember everything I said. But look, listen to this hype low. He was never the lineal champion according to the definition and according to bloodline, which the bloodline was broken several times, and I'm gonna go through that in a minute. That he was never even the lineal champion according to that, that notion. But weight champion, post bare knuckles were Sutherland. So he was the first recognized heavyweight champion. He lost the title to James J. Corbett. And then James J. Corbett lost the title to Bob Fitzsimmons. Now, keep in mind, all these guys are undisputed champions because the lineal championship definition also entails that you have to be undisputed. You have to at least defend your title at least one time. So these guys defended their title one time that I'm named. They were undisputed. More importantly, they were. So it was no other guys out there with no titles. You didn't have 3 titles. Another guy had 1. You didn't have 2. Another guy had 2. All these guys were undisputed. And if you're going to be the man to beat the man, you have to be the man. You can't have another champion out there with another guy out there calling himself champion. You have to be the man. James Jeffrey beat Bob Simmons. Marvin Hart beat James J. Jeffries. I'm just going through the bloodline. Tommy Burns beat Marvin Hart. Jack Johnson beat Tommy Burns. Now, the lineage, the bloodline, dating all Sutherland was broken when James J. Jeffries retired. But James J. Jeffries later faced Jack Johnson, which reconnected the true bloodline. Jeffries was a champion on the true bloodline. Then when he retired, a couple guys, including Jack Johnson, held the championship, but they were not. Jack Johnson beat Jack Johnson. Jack Dempsey beat Jess Willard. Honey beat Jack Dempsey in the knockout. So when Gene Tunney beat Jack Dempsey for the last time, for the second time, he retired ever and he didn't come back. So the heavyweight lineage from that point on, bloodline, the true bloodline, dating all the way back to John L. Sullivan, was broken forever. Reconnected because Gene Tunney never came back out of retirement to Max Schmeling or Jack Sharkey or anybody that won a title post his retirement. So Max Schmeling and Jack Sharkey fought for the vacant title. And Max Schmeling fought and won the vacant title. Jack Sharkey beat Max Schmeling. And then Primero Carnero beat Jack Sharkey, and Max Baer beat Primero Carnero. Jay Braddock, he was able to beat Max Baer, but now one thing about Max Baer, he was an undisputed champion, but he never had a successful title defense. Just like James J. Braddock never had a successful title defense because he lost to Joe Louis in his next fight. So part of being a true lineal champion and a true recognized champion in the people's eyes, you at least have to defend your heavyweight title. Keep that in mind. That's down the line. You have to at least defend your title at least one time to be successfully to be called a champion. And Max Baer did not do that. James J. Braddock did not do that. And the definition of lineal champion after Gene Tunney retired, because at first the true bloodline was the man that beat the man, and Gene Tunney was the last man that beat the man. Because I told you, reconnected, James J. Jeffries came back out of retirement to fight and got defeated by Jack Johnson. So Gene Tunney was the last and forever the last guy that. Definition was changed a little bit after that. Now we had to go by, the other part of the definition where you had to be undisputed, and you had to at least defend your title at least one time. At least one time. And that's what Joe Louis became the man. Joe Louis became the new bloodline. In my opinion, he became the new bloodline because he defended his title multiple times. He was undisputed. Yeah. My screen is pitch black. I mean, that's how I like my screen. I like my screen to be pitch black. I don't show my face on my live. You know, that's what I have. But I'm talking about the linealship of the heavyweight title. But like I said, Joe Louis became the new bloodline. He became the new. John L. Sullivan with the new bloodline. Then Elder Charles beat Joe Louis. Jersey Joe Walcott beat Ezra Charles. And then Rocky Marciano beat Jersey Joe Walcott. Now, when Rocky Marciano retired, being the undisputed champion and the new lineal champion on the new bloodline, on the Joe Louis bloodline of the man who beat the man, he retired 49-0, and he did not come back. And we all know he died in a plane crash. And now Floyd Patterson, fought for his vacant title, fought for Rocky Marciano's vacant title, and he was able to win it. He fought Ingram Johnson, which he lost his next title defense to Ingram Johnson. Then he was able to win the title back and have several title defenses before he fought Sonny Liston. And then Floyd Patterson beat Sonny Liston twice to become the new lineal bloodline, the second bloodline of an undisputed heavyweight champion. And then Muhammad Ali was able to beat Sonny Liston twice. So Muhammad Ali was the lineal champion. Then we all know Muhammad Ali went through his things with the not reporting to the service to fight in the war, the Vietnam War, and he was stripped of his title for 3 years. Joe Frazier came along, and he did not participate in the heavyweight tournament, but he was able to beat the guy that won the tournament. So he was the the new lineal champion. And then Muhammad Ali came out of retirement and fought Joe Frazier, and then it reconnected the new bloodline from Joe Louis. So Joe Frazier was able to solidify himself as the true lineal undisputed champion. And then George Foreman, we know George Foreman beat Joe Frazier. We know Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali got the belt back. Then Muhammad Ali lost to Larry Holmes. So that kept that linealship and undisputed together. Then Michael Spinks was able to beat Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was a long-time champion, the second longest reign next to Joe Louis. And then...
Oh, yeah, I know you heard it, Hype Low. I'm just playing this for everybody else.
Belts got dispersed. And then Mike Tyson was able to collect all the belts in a tournament. And then Mike Tyson had several title defenses, and he, lost in an upset.
Hey, Hype Low, this not for you. This for everybody else that
I believe
that I was talking to. This not for you. I just wanted to play this and explain why. This is just for the people that didn't go back and look at it.
James Buster Douglas. And then he fought Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, I will. I'll look at it. But I'm just playing this for the people
and then Evander Holyfield fought Riddick
that didn't hear my video.
Now, and then Riddick Bowe beat Evander Holyfield twice, and Evander Holyfield was able to beat Riddick Bowe in the second fight, but the third fight, Riddick Bowe beat Holyfield, but that wasn't even for a title. Then Michael Moore beat Holyfield after Holyfield regained the belts, and then Shannon Briggs was able to beat George Foreman after George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore. Michael Moore was a recognized champion. But see, as we progress right here, some of these guys was not undisputed. Now the last undisputed champion was Lennox Lewis. He was the last undisputed champion. So he had claim to the linealship. Then he got beat by Hassan Rahman. Then he was able to, regain the titles. And then Lennox Lewis beat Tyson. We all know that. And then Lennox Lewis faced Vitaly Klitschko, the older Klitschko. He lost. He beat the older Klitschko. My fault. He beat the older Klitschko. And then Lennox Lewis retired. So Lennox Lewis retired, the undisputed lineal champion. So the belts was dispersed once again. So the Klitschko brothers collected the belts, and they reigned as a double-headed twin champions. But now neither one of them was undisputed. Neither one of them, in my opinion, was lineal, because part of being lineal, you have to be undisputed champion. You can't have another guy out there saying that he's a champion and you're a champion. It doesn't work like that. And now a lot of people say, well, they share the linealship. You can't share the linealship. Now, I did not expect, nor did anybody else expect the Klitschkos to fight each other. So when Vitaly retired, people jumped on the bandwagon that said Klitschko was the true champion. Now, he was a true champion, but he was not the undisputed champion. He was not the lineal champion. So the linealship was broken and never regained after Lennox Lewis. That's why I come to this, this title of Tyson Fury was never the lineal champion, because Klitschko was not. Vladimir Klitschko was never the lineal champion. And a lot of people are saying Tyson Fury got his lineal championship when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, and if Vladimir Klitschko was not ever the lineal champion, how can Tyson Fury be the lineal champion? Because he didn't. No. That's not how it works. You have to be part of being a lineal champion. You have to be undisputed as well, and you have to defend your title at least once. Tell me a time when Tyson Fury ever defended his title. Tyson Fury never defended his title. You can't be recognized as a champion until you defend your title. You got to defend that title at least one time. He did not have a successful title defense, and he was not undisputed. Vladimir Klitschko could have fought Deontay Wilder after Deontay Wilder beat Stavern, but he chose not to. So Vladimir Klitschko never was a lineal champion. I'm just saying he will claim it. I don't say he's recognized. Well, I know a lot of people out there saying the reason why this is a good fight for Wilder is because Wilder can become the lineal champion. Wilder cannot become the lineal champion if he beat Fury. Fury is not the lineal champion, because Lennox Lewis retired with that, and it was never regained because guys out there never fought and became undisputed again after Lennox Lewis. Vladimir Klitschko, the Klitschko brothers, they didn't fight each other. Okay, they didn't fight each other. Nobody expects them to fight each other. But again, they should. After Vitaly Klitschko retired, Vladimir Klitschko had a chance to fight Deontay Wilder, and he didn't. If he would have fought Deontay Wilder, it would have started a new bloodline of linealship, and the linealship of the new bloodline would have started with Vladimir Klitschko. But he chose not to do that. So now you got Wilder with the WBC, and you got Joshua with all the other belts. Now, when those two guys fight, if those two guys ever fight, the winner of that fight will be the new bloodline of the lineal champion and the undisputed champion. That's how it works. Because when John L. Sullivan, his bloodline stopped when Gene Tunney retired. And then when Gene Tunney retired, the next bloodline that successfully started was with Joe Louis. And then when Rocky Marciano retired, it started a new bloodline, in my opinion, with Sonny Liston. And then, that the Sonny Liston bloodline consists of Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Leon Spinks, Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks. And then after Michael Spinks, that bloodline, and then when Michael Spinks retired, that bloodline was gone. Then Mike Tyson won the tournament. We all know Mike Tyson won the heavyweight tournament. Then after Mike Tyson won the heavyweight tournament, the new bloodline started with Mike Tyson, which started another bloodline of undisputed and lineal champion. Then when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, he beat the man that started the new bloodline. So Buster Douglas was not only the undisputed champion, he was the lineal champion. And then when Evander, like I said, then Evander Holyfield beat Buster Douglas. Then Riddick Bowe beat Evander Holyfield. Then we all know Riddick Bowe threw one of the belts in the trash. I think the WBC in the trash. And then Lennox Lewis picked that belt up. So there was no, to me, there was no undisputed champion. And the lineal champion was Riddick Bowe, but he didn't have all the belts. And then, we all know George Foreman beat Michael Moore. And then Shannon Briggs beat George Foreman. George Foreman had no titles when Shannon Briggs beat him. But people said that Shannon Briggs beat George Foreman for the lineal championship, which he didn't, because George Foreman, part of being a lineal champion, if you go look up the definition, it says you have to be undisputed. That you can't be a lineal champion and somebody else out there got belts. And you either have one belt or you have no belt. No, it doesn't work like that. So Shannon Briggs, in my opinion, was not the lineal champion. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but the new bloodline started with Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis was able to gain all the belts, when he fought Evander Holyfield, he became the new bloodline, and he became the undisputed champion. So, yes, he lost to Hassan Rahman, but he was able to beat Hassan Rahman. Then he was able to beat Vitaly Klitschko. Now, let's keep it together. Lennox Lewis, the new bloodline is with Lennox Lewis. So when Lennox Lewis retired, Vladimir Klitschko went out there, and his brother went out there, and they reigned together. They went out there, collect titles, and they reigned together. Neither one of them are lineal champion because neither one of them was undisputed. If they would have fought each other, and like I said, if they would have fought each other, I know nobody is expecting to fight each other, but if they would have fought each other, we would have had a new bloodline of a lineal champion and an undisputed champion. We never had that. So how can Tyson Fury be lineal champion when Vladimir Klitschko was not lineal champion? Now, Tyson Fury had majority of the belts, but the WBC was still out there. If Tyson Fury would have fought Wilder, he would have started a new bloodline post Lennox Lewis, but he didn't do that. He would have started a new bloodline of linealship and undisputed. Now, like I said, right now, the linealship is out there floating. Look, Fury beat Klitschko, who was I don't care that Klitschko. Look, Klitschko was unbeaten for 10 years. I give you that. But Klitschko was not undisputed. His brother had the WBC title, or somebody else had the belt in some of that reign that he was reigning in. Towards the end of that reign, his brother had a WBC title. So, no matter what you say, if you go look at the definition, you have to be undisputed, my friend. You have to be undisputed, and you have to successfully defend your title, which Klitschko was successfully defending title belts, but he was not successfully defending undisputed as an undisputed champion. He just wasn't undisputed, and that's just what it is. We can't judge this stuff on a curve. You have to judge it on how it goes by the letter of the law. The letter of the law says Vladimir Klitschko had a chance to, even when his brother retired. Why did he go fight Wilder after Wilder beat Stavern? That was his chance to start his new bloodline of undisputed and being the lineal champion. But he chose not to do that. So I can't give him credit for stuff that he chose not to do. The credit that Klitschko get, yeah, he had a long run of being a unified champion. That's what he was. He was a unified title holder, not even a champion, because I don't call you a champion unless you get all the belts. You get all the belts, you unified, you the champion. Wilder and Joshua stayed far away from. Okay. That's what you mean. You can say that. You can say they stayed far away from him. You know what I'm saying? But I remember hearing the interviews. Klitschko said that Wilder, he didn't think Wilder was ready to fight him. So, this stuff goes back and forth, man. Klitschko had a chance to fight Wilder. Yeah. Offer Wilder money that he can't turn down to get him in the ring. That's what Don King offered Spinks. Michael Spinks to fight Tyson, because Michael Spinks, quote unquote, had the linealship of the heavyweight championship, even though he didn't have no belts. So what did Don King do? He gave Michael Spinks a boatload of money, even though Michael Spinks was scared of Tyson, to get in the ring.
Klitschko, if he wanted to be the lineal champion and undisputed champion so bad, he could have offered Wilder a boatload of money. See, it's ways you can do things. If you choose not to do them, you just choose not to do them. I cannot judge Klitschko on the curve. Like I said, the linealship and the claim to the undisputed champion is still out there. So if Joshua and Wilder fight, that's going to start a brand new bloodline of lineal champion and undisputed champion. And that's period. That's period, point blank. If you go through the history, you will see that I'm coming from a point of a lot of it is fact. Joshua and Klitschko fight was designed to make Joshua the new face of boxing. Wilder could finish Joshua. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with being an undisputed and a lineal champion. I understand Joshua fighting Klitschko was a great fight. That was a great heavyweight fight, but that was for one title. My fault. That was for the WBA and I believe the WBA and IBF title. So that was only for 2 titles. It was still 2 other titles out there. The WBO and WBC was still out there. So that was not for the undisputed champion. That did not crown the undisputed champion. Now, if you want to, you can say that you think Joshua is the #1 heavyweight. Somebody else can say they think Wilder's the #1 heavyweight. We don't know who's the #1 heavyweight until those 2 fight, or if somebody beat them and some other people fight and become the undisputed champion. No matter what, we do not have an undisputed heavyweight champion. Therefore, we don't have a lineal champion, because many people will say Fury is Okay. How can you say Fury is #1 when after he beat Klitschko, he did not even successfully defend his title, and he did not go after Wilder, and Wilder had the WBC. So how can you say he's the #1, true #1? You can have an opinion, that doesn't make it a fact. Okay, your opinion says that Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight, but somebody could have said, well, Wilder's the #1 heavyweight. So what makes Wilder not the #1 heavyweight, and what makes Fury the #1 heavyweight? Okay, you're going to say because Fury beat a long-time champion. To me, a title holder. I know people call Klitschko a champion, but a title holder, unified title holder. Yes, he did. So you can say, that could be a really good opinion that Fury is the heavyweight. Is the #1 heavyweight. Being the #1 heavyweight does not make you the undisputed lineal heavyweight champion. Yes, Fury is not real champion because he never defended his. Yeah, he never defended the title. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury both beat Anthony Joshua. Joshua, for me, is a little bit too protect. Okay, well, until we can all have opinions on who can beat who. Until they have, the truth is the ring. When guys get in the ring, that's the truth. We can have all our opinions on the outside of the ring. When guys actually get in the ring, the truth will come out. When Fury and Klitschko got in the ring, guess what? The truth.
So that's my breakdown of who's a lineal champion. I know Hype Low, I know you already heard the video, but I was just trying to break it down for everybody else. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, go get something to eat. I'll probably be on tomorrow, man. I'm out, y'all.